Welcome. Today we are going to dive into something that literally shapes every single conversation you have, your communication style. We're going to unlock the hidden languages that can either build these incredible bridges between people or, put up some really frustrating walls. So let's get right into it.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? That feeling where you're trying to explain something that is crystal clear in your own mind, but the other person is just not getting it? It's one of the most common frustrations out there. And here's the thing. It often has way less to do with the actual words you're using and way more to do with a kind of hidden language you're both speaking.
So the key to cracking this whole code, well, it lies in understanding that connection isn't just about what we say. Nope, it's really about how we process the world around us. See, each and every one of us has a preferred way of taking in information, and that preference deeply shapes how we communicate back out to the world.
Now, to help us get a handle on this, we're going to borrow a really useful framework from neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP for short. It's all about the connection between our language and our internal experience. And it suggests that we each lean on a primary sensory system to make sense of everything. You can almost think of it as your brain's default operating system for communication.
And according to this model, there are four primary styles we're going to break down today. We've got visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and the really interesting one, the digital style. As we go through them, see if you can spot yourself and maybe a few other people you know.
All right, first up, we've got the most common style of all, the visual communicator. These are the people who literally think in pictures. For them, if they can't create a mental image of what you're talking about, it's almost like it doesn't exist.
Have you ever heard someone say this? Or maybe, show me what you mean. Or, let me get a clearer picture of that. Ding, ding, ding. Those phrases are your number one clue. Visual communicators need to see the concept in their mind's eye, and their language is absolutely packed with these visual words. And all these traits really make sense when you think about it. Visual people often talk pretty fast. They're just trying to keep up with that flood of images in their head. They love charts and graphs because it makes information easy to see. And a tidy workspace? Well, that's crucial, because for them, visual clutter is a huge distraction. Does this sound like you? Or maybe that coworker who always asks for the slide deck? Okay, next up, let's switch gears from sight to sound and talk about the auditory communicator. For these folks, the world is primarily understood through what they hear, through listening, and through speaking.
Just listen for phrases like this one, or things like, I hear you, or that sounds good to me. This is the telltale language of someone who processes information through their ears. For them, the way things sound is every bit as important as the words themselves.
Auditory communicators are often just fantastic listeners. They can remember conversations in incredible detail, and they are super sensitive to your tone of voice. It's never just what you said, it's always how you said it that matters. So to really connect with them, you've got to talk things through. They thrive on brainstorming out loud, not just reading a document in silence.
All right, let's get to our final two styles, and they are fascinatingly different from each other. On one hand, we have the kinesthetic communicator, who operates on feeling and hands-on experience. And on the other, we have the digital communicator, who operates on pure logic and systems.
This phrase right here, this is the calling card of a kinesthetic communicator. They connect with the world through physical sensations, through emotions, through intuition. They don't just want to hear about it or see it, they need to actually experience it to really truly get it.
These are the people who learn best by doing. They'd much rather build the prototype than just read the instruction manual. Think of a chef who's constantly tasting as they cook, or the mechanic who just needs to get their hands on the engine. They trust their gut feelings, and they often speak a little more slowly because they're literally checking in with how they physically feel about what's being said.
And now, get ready for a complete 180. The digital communicator processes the world through logic and reason. They aren't primarily driven by what they see or hear or feel, but by one simple question. Does it compute? Does it make logical sense?
Digital communicators absolutely need to understand the system behind everything. So give them the data, the facts, the step-by-step procedure. Their language is more abstract, less sensory, because they are constantly running this internal dialogue, analyzing information to make sure it's all coherent. They're the ones who will ask why 5 times, not to be annoying, but because they have to get to the root logic of how it all works. So here it is, the core contrast laid out really clearly. Where the kinesthetic person asks, how do I feel about this? The digital person is asking, does this make sense? One is guided by that gut instinct, that internal feeling. The other is guided by pure internal logic. And let's be clear, neither one is better, they're just fundamentally different ways of seeing the world.
Okay,
So we've identified these 4 styles. But now what? What do we actually do with this information? Well, this is where it gets really, really powerful. Because the point isn't to just slap labels on people, it's to learn how to communicate with anyone more effectively.
See, understanding these styles gives you the actual tools to build a bridge directly into someone else's world. It's a true act of empathy, and it can transform what was a frustrating monologue into a real, genuine, connected conversation.
And here's the super simple 3-step process you can start using literally today. First, get honest about your own dominant style. Are you more visual, auditory, kinesthetic? Second, start actively listening for clues in the other person's language. Are they saying, I see, or I hear you, or I feel? And finally, number 3, adapt. Deliberately try using their style of language. So with a visual person, try saying, picture this instead of listen to this. It's a small change that makes a huge difference.
When you boil it all down, it really just comes to this. Misunderstanding happens when we insist on broadcasting on our own channel to everyone all the time. But real, true connection, that happens when we take a moment to tune into their channel. It's all about meeting people where they are, in the language that they actually understand best.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Who is that one person you sometimes struggle to connect with? A coworker, a family member, maybe a friend? Now that you have these tools, whose world will you try to step into first? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.